Even by modern standards, ancient Egypt would have been an intimidating place to visit. I mean, can you imagine coming down the river and pulling up to a place that looked like this? One of the things that gets lost sometimes in the discussion of pyramids when we find them in Antarctica is the pyramids in Egypt were capped with electrum, which is a gold-silver alloy, and they were covered in polished white limestone to make them appear as if they were made of ice. It makes me think and makes me wonder that maybe Egypt wasn't the first place on this planet where pyramids were constructed. That maybe, just maybe, the original inhabitants of this world were at the South Pole, or at least what we now know to be the South Pole. God knows how many times it has flipped, and who knows, what has happened in the past with the locations of these continents. This will give you a better impression of what they would have looked like in the noonday sun. You can see the ones on the left and right capped in gold, the top one in electrum, and even at night with the minor light of the moon, it would have shone brightly and you could have seen it for miles and miles away. It would have appeared something like this. There's also been this allegation story, and of course this is just theory, that the pyramids were built that way because they were landing platforms. And I want you to pay real close attention to the separations in this vessel that they've laid out. That for some reason they would believe that would be the case, that there would be these different areas to access, and that would maybe kind of make sense if you were going to construct a ship in this particular shape, but found something in Antarctica that I think you guys are going to want to take a real close look at. This is an area we have been to before, but it's been a long, long time. And warning, there's going to be some disturbing imagery. Some very disturbing imagery, in fact. I remember this was one of the first locations I found where there was evidence of serpents. And I'll just leave it there. But the first place we're going to go is what I have labeled an ancient base. Now I want to show you this very clearly the first time so that there's absolutely no mistake of what this is. When we zoom in right here, we have the base, the secondary, and the very clear white top of a pyramid right here. It is completely different than everything else around it in color and in shape. And right next to it, I want you to pay very close attention to this giant white wall with just these slits in it. And these steps going up to it. There is what appears to be two very enormous statues, but just a place to walk right through them and get back to whatever this building is here in the back. There's also, when you zoom in a little bit closer, an image of a man right here. It's very, very difficult to see, but when you look at the entire region, plus there's another small building right here to the left, and then you come back and look at this, it's very clear what's right here. Smaller white pyramid, secondary level, and the base. And as if that wasn't enough, look what I found. A perfectly shaped black pentagon structure right behind it. Now, I haven't measured this, and I wanted to measure this together so that you could see it when I saw it, and we could react to it together. All right, so we're going to select polygon, and we're just going to kind of get a general idea of this distance here. This one is about 170 feet around. Now in yards, 56.93 yards. In meters, 52 meters around. So, perfect black pentagon. From whatever angle you honestly look at this, it appears the same. And that's sometimes tough to say in Antarctica because of the way the imagery is. But then we also have this giant open white platform, stairway leading up to this, what looks like just white front with these window slits in it that you could go into the side of this mountain. It looks like there might even be another level up here. And when you follow it up into here, you see all sorts of stuff that I'm not going to get into right now because it's just not definitive enough to say this is for sure that. But I am going to show you some things that are that definitive. There's one area here I want to show you guys. And let me make sure I can find it. First time here. Well, we'll just go right to left. Once again, we have the head of a serpent. This time, you can see the mouth open, and you can literally even see the teeth. And it's two-tone, green, emerald eye, just like we've seen everywhere else. Green-eyed jade, basically, serpents. I don't know what this is up here, but I included it in the circle so I didn't forget to talk about it. And when you zoom in on this area very closely, everything has this jaded feel, this green everywhere, which you wouldn't necessarily associate with Antarctica. Once again, zooming in very closely, you can see the head of a serpent and the eye. That's the killer right there. If these were just formations of snow, you wouldn't see eyeballs on them. And there is a small figure of some maybe humanoid person right in front of this. And you can really even make out the difference between the headgear and the body gear on this one. And once again, I'll give you these locations. Actually, all of you people with the KMZ file, you have this location. You can Google something, or not Google, but just search for, in the little search bar, type in winged seated Nephilim. We're going to get there in a minute. Now, I have mentioned before that there are pictographs near these locations. Can you see the boat? The man, the body, the head? Looks like he's rowing. It looks like there's two smaller people here pushing off the boat. And up here, here is the man, here's the head, clutching a hammer. I mean, this image of a pickaxe right here, or some type of a hammer, is about as clear as I have ever seen. This entire region right here, there are things that just about everywhere you look. There's art, there's, I didn't mention this, but I might as well. This very much looks like the head of some kind of a beast, a carving of it. You have an ear, you have the jaw open, the nose. But let me see if I can get over to the Nephilim just to show you this. It was one of the first things that I had found that was very much... Let me show you this real quick. Does this figure look familiar? The two ears, the nose, the goatee. Hint, hint. This area just had all sorts of stuff in it that I wish I had gone back to earlier. Now, this was one of the more difficult images to reveal when I first looked at it, because you have to look at this from a very specific perspective. Let me see if I can speak English today. Specific perspective. There we go. Now, seated right here is... I referred to it as a Nephilim at the time. I'm just going to stick with that because it's very large. You can see the head. You can see he's facing us, so this would be his left arm, his left leg, his right leg, and behind him you can see, right here, wings. I could probably show you a dozen other things right around here that are just beyond the realm of wind, ice, snow, and rock. It is an incredible, incredible region. And I'm already at 12 minutes and I haven't even covered everything I wanted to cover. And I had to edit it down, to be truthful. Remember the gorilla, the giant black image that looked like a gorilla carrying its young? Well, I found very close to this what looks like another one. You can see the eyes, the nose, the giant muscular arm, the silverback. Let me see if I can orient this. There we go. And it's almost like there's a smaller one, some type of a baboon or monkey. Two of them, really. One here and one here. Seated right in front of him. There's also a smaller third figure over here. And this one, if you look closely, remember the other one looked like it was carrying a little one underneath it? Most of the time they ride on their mother's backs, don't they? Look up here. This region was, I remember when I found it, the original video I did on it, it's well over a year old. And it wasn't even one of the more popular videos at the time. Now, when you look at this, you're thinking, okay, well, that's just a rock, and it very well might be. But look at how different it is. Here and here. I don't think these things were occurring there naturally. I've made the allegation of art. They would need some type of basic material to create the stuff out of, and this was a tough one. It was one of the first face type images that I found, and so I didn't really talk a whole lot about it, but I just want to make sure I cover it. And here's the thing with the serpent. We see this tiled scaling all over the place down here. Plus, if you look very, very close at the scale of a serpent, it's five-sided, like a pentagon. Serpent. To be five. So we covered the goat face, we covered the gorilla, the two serpents, the pictograph, the ancient base. I mean, and I could go on, but I guess I will just leave it there and let you guys explore this region for yourself. Let me zoom out just to give you guys an idea of where this is. I guess I have the continent upside down, so I'll go ahead and spin this around. It would be at, if we put the peninsula of Antarctica at noon, I guess it's kind of over in the 10 o'clock region. Let's see if this is it right here. Yep, this is the region. And there's many, many, many other things here. And you get a really great view with some very fantastic high-res imagery. So I will leave that there. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Thank you.